Welcome back trackside here, round 3 of the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championships. I'm Darren Smith. Right alongside me now is Matt Dunlop for the Westbon Management Porsche 944s. Great to see Race Fuels and the Melbourne Car Kennel and 888 Home Loans on board sponsoring our telecast today, but certainly lots of sponsors make up our categories, and this is the Westbon Management Porsche 944 cars on track. Matt, welcome to Phillip Island. Horrible day yesterday, or spectacular, depends where you are. If you're in the commentary booth, it was spectacular, but if you're outside, it was horrible. Welcome, mate. 944s on track.
Thank you very much, mate. It's great to be in the booth once again, and we have a huge field of 944s this weekend. 24 cars have rocked up. Unfortunately, we've got a couple who haven't made it to the grid for this race, but we do have 20 starters. Cameron Bella starts alongside James Westaway, who is on the pole position and has drawn the championship standings at 220 points apiece. Mark Torbert's with a podium finish last race out is starting from third, with Anthony Westaway next to him in fourth position. Marius Katrina in fifth, which is a great result for him, next to Richard Howe in eighth after a little bit of a tangle with Lyndon Watson. Adam Brewer starts from seventh, with Michael Westaway in the number 45 starting from P8 on the grid. Tim Wolf from WA in the number 66 will be starting from P9 next to Peter James in the pink 98 GKJ Rural Fencing Machine out of 10th. Andrew Jackman in 11th in the Poolmaster Bayside car next to Joshua Brisbane in that Kermit Green car you see just past the graphic there in 12th. Peter Doherty, who switched numbers from 53 to 80 today, will be in 13th position next to Tony Andrzejewski. Clayton Sinclair starts out of 15th in the number 42 Advanced Fitness car, but John Kennedy still having engine problems in 16th. Andy Tudor starts from P17 next to Jimmy Mitchell, who had an issue in qualifying, but he's back up to 18th on the grid in front of Andy Jones, who qualified fantastically yesterday but bogged it down off the start. Jack Atley, the newcomer, starts from 20th.
Great to see Jack on board there. Unfortunately, off the tail of this race, the Victorian State Circuit Racing Championship ladder at the moment looks like this. It's Cameron Bella on 100 points with James Westaway, Adam Brewer, Richard Howe, John Kennedy, Michael Westaway, Tony Westaway. Mark Torbert's down in 8th place there. He's looking to improve on that. Had a good run yesterday, Mark. So let's keep our eyes out for the number 74 on the second row of the grid. And also Richard Howe had a good drive yesterday, and he was just outside the 10. And has now got himself onto the third row of the grid. But all the attention, Matt, is going to be on this front row, isn't it?
That's exactly right. These two have been battling it out all season long so far. They are two of the quickest guys in the field, and any race you see these two gentlemen in is going to be a cracker. The lights are on. The revs are starting to build. We're waiting for a green flag at the back, and we're away. Cameron Bella seems to have gotten the jump. Jamie Westaway got a pretty good start as well. Tony Westaway flying along a third. Oh, we've had a big tangle on the front straight. Andrew Jackman has 3 wheels on his wagon. There's been a collision here. Marius Katrina is stranded on the grid as well. Peter Doherty is taken to the grass. That is a huge incident to start the race.
That's not what we want to see. That has absolutely torn an entire strut out of the back of that 944. The race continues down in turn 1. James Westaway had a massive amount of action tramp off the line there. We've gone safety car. Safety car has been displayed around the track now, so obviously we need to clean this up as quickly as we possibly can. Medical crews have got there. Car number 12 still stranded on the grid there. That's Marius Katrina, and the field just coming under control now. You can see Jamie Westaway out in front of this race, just slowing the field down. They would be blissfully unaware of what has happened on the starting grid behind them, and they'll be wondering what it was.
Just had a bit of a tangle there under safety car conditions. Michael Westaway's been spun around. Dickie Howe has gone off of this field there. Tony Andrzejewski looks to be involved, or at least parked on the side of the road. What has happened there? We've had another bit of a tangle there at Honda Corner. Doesn't look to be a huge amount of damage, maybe just a slight bump. Hopefully that is the case, but that is not what you want to be seeing under full course yellow conditions.
I tell you what though, front and centre on the screen, Westbon Management, round sponsor emblazoned down the side of the number 45 there of Michael Westaway. Beautiful shot there by our Blendline TV crew, just capturing the round sponsor. Obviously not a proud moment, but certainly gives us the opportunity to touch on all the sponsors that help keep the 944 series going.
Thumbs up from Michael Westaway in the cabin of that number 45 machine, so he is all good. Not sure how big that impact was because I only caught the back end of it from where I was looking, but geez, that was a little bit wild. Speaking of wild, we're just seeing Andrew Jackman climbing out of the car in the front straight, so it's good to know he's all right, but we are neutralised under safety car. Hopefully not a huge amount of cleanup will be necessary here because it is only a 5-lap race to start proceedings off today. Hopefully we can get at least 1 lap, maybe even 2, of a nice bit of a sprint towards the end of the day, but we've just got recovery vehicles on the front straight. as we watch the field now stream over the top of Lukey Heights. A chance to plug the rest of the sponsors who really put everything together to make the 944 Challenge happen. Westbon Management, of course, is our round sponsor this weekend, but we've got Advanced Fitness, AVI Technology, Bayside Commercial Real Estate, Seat Time Race Simulations, Poolmaster Bayside, Smith's TMP, Hire Depot, and of course Porsche Cars Australia, Yokohama Traction Tyres, Race Fuels, and V-Sport. And of course, a big thank you to all our volunteers who come out and help us run these events as well.
Let's just touch on the Porsche involvement, Porsche Cars Australia. A couple of seasons ago now, jumping on board. Internationally, Porsche got their pyramid, what they call. This is the entry level to it, isn't it? 944 racing at state level in the Victorian State Series. It then jumps up to the Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge, then goes to Carrera Cup Australia, and you just keep climbing. You go to Carrera Cup Germany, and then of course the Super Cup as well, which travels around with Formula One. So, you know, we've seen a lot of people travel through that progression. In fact, we've got Matt Campbell and Jackson Evans. They obviously started in the Sprint Challenge end of things, but the likes of Richard Muscat and Kane Rose and a lot of these other guys have come through 944s and now professionals in the world of motorsport.
That's exactly right. For a couple of seasons now, the 944 Challenge has been a part of the Porsche Young Driver Development Program, and what that means for these drivers is it gives them real opportunities to really test their mettle and see how far they can get in the Porsche pyramid, because the state champion of the 944 Challenge does win a Porsche GT3 Cup track experience valued at $7,000. Cameron Bella took that when he won a championship in 2018. Tony Westaway, being the next best driver in 2019, captured that in 2019 and was able to do a test session up at Queensland Raceway, I believe it was. And it really is a good opportunity for young drivers who want to come through and make a start in racing, because the 944 Challenge is such a great, inexpensive category to get them started. And if you're trying to get someone involved in sport, you know, they're looking really good in karting, and you want to get them onto a big track like Phillip Island, give the 944 Challenge a look, because it could prove to be a really valuable step in a pathway to get into some GT racing later down the track.
Just seeing the number 12 coming back on a flat toe. That's the preferred way to come back to the pits. It means you've got the, as you said, Matt, at the start, you've got four wheels on your wagon. Unfortunately, right now, Andrew Jackman in the Poolmaster car doesn't have that. There's a wheel. It's like a mini lighter designed with an entire strut and brake assembly attached to it. Now, this is the tricky thing here whilst we're working. You're talking about our volunteer officials. The Pyack recovery crew have just been dispersed to 4 different corners of the track to pick up stranded race cars. The one on the start line, I guess, is the one that's the hairiest. Benny Menelzelma going through there. He had an issue yesterday in his car. Good to see that he hasn't been involved in any of this. But this is the tricky bit about this. The tow trucks can't go onto the grass, otherwise they sink up to their axles. So they have to use the four-wheel drives and the recovery crews to bring them back on. The last thing you want to do is be dragging your 944 without a right front wheel underneath it, albeit across the grass. So we hope no more further damage occurs. But certainly he didn't come to the track today with his number 20 beautiful aqua-coloured Poolmaster car to not get off the grid, did he?
That's exactly right. You never want that to happen, and it's good to see that it is all right, but the car has definitely seen better days. I think it would be a mammoth effort if they were able to get that thing back on track today, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that thing on the trailer for the rest of the weekend. Fortunately, though, we do still have a massive field who was able to come out here for the 8-lapper later today for the third race of the Porsche 944 Challenge that will decide the round points, and we'll decide who leads the championship after this point as well. I'm just seeing Michael Westaway being taken off the track, all the cars weaving through past the hay shed there, trying to keep some heat in those tyres. You can see John Kennedy is quite a bit far back there. He looks to have recovered a couple of spots. He's up to 11th. He started all the way down in 16th because he's been having persistent engine issues for this whole season and the later part of last year as well. Had a weird little, whether it's a misfire or there's like a flat spot on the power curve, he can't get to the bottom of it. Didn't affect him a huge amount at Winton, thankfully, but here at Phillip Island, where power and speed and momentum is so important, it's really impacted him big time. You touched on Manny Metzasama as well having issues. He actually had a gearbox failure yesterday, and he was able to get a new one, so he's out on track today in race 2, as is Keith Mariner, who similarly had a gearbox failure of his own. So big efforts from those two crews to get those cars back up and running, and it's great to see them out there. Unfortunately, John Venoris had possibly what was a head gasket failure yesterday, and he will not be returning to the track for the rest of the weekend.
That's a shame. John Venoris not to be taking any further part here this weekend. Certainly had a good opening round at Sandown, did John. But really good to see that the 944s have had a really good grid this weekend. Fantastic. In excess of 20 cars in a grid in any category really should be congratulated. I guess the high water mark at the moment is improved production. You're on 50 cars. And surprisingly, they've gazumped Circuit XLs, which only got about 30 cars here. In fact, after yesterday, they've probably only got about 3 or 4 left that are going to be running. But we'll see how the Circuit XLs front up for the rest of today. I'm going to suggest that we're not too far away. We're probably going to get another lap under safety car, unfortunately, but that will give us 3 flying laps to complete this race and be able to make it a point scoring race, make it be able to score points for both the Porsche 944 Entrance Association as well as the State Series. Jamie Westaway will lead the field away to Cameron Bella and Tony Westaway there. Mark Torbett's in position 4. He hasn't been able to bust out of position 4 here at Phillip Island. Of course, the 944s supported the Shannon's Motorsport Australia Championships earlier this year, and on the same bill as S5000, Trans Ams, TCR. So getting on some of those as well, and I think they might be on a Tailem Bend as well later on in the year. Is that true? I heard chat about that, or maybe my jump the gun.
Yeah, I've heard whispers. They're definitely trying to get themselves on the Tailem Ben's bill once again. They were there, I believe, in either 2018 or 2019, having a good run around there, and they are doing their best to make sure they can get a run there along on the V8 Supercar layout, which will be the longest track the 944s race on by far, unless they can get themselves up to Bathurst pretty soon, of course, which they're pretty keen to get up there at some point if they can support any categories. We've got 2 more rounds left after this one, of course, in the State Series. 23rd and 25th to the 25th of July, I should say, is our second round at Sandown, and then we wrap up the season back here once again on the 25th and 26th of September here at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. And if I'm a gambling man, which I sometimes am, I reckon these 2 cars you see at the front, Jamie Westaway and Cameron Bella, will be near enough to neck and neck in points by the time we get there.
You know what, mate? You're going to get 0 odds on that, mate. The track's clear. Everyone's off the track. You're not going to get anyone to take a bet off you on that one, that's for sure. But certainly we've got another circuit around. I'm going to suggest that the safety car will start to pick up its pace once we get out of Siberia. Michael Parker there at the wheel. And doing a great job. Karen Belcom operating the radio right alongside. There's such an integral part of modern motorsport is the safety car. It really can and does change the outcome of races, and the way they enter the track to bring the field under control, and more importantly the way they exit the track, is very, very important. So the drivers all the way through the field know that the safety car is going off. Not everyone's in radio contact in these types of events. In fact, some categories out and out banned, but radio contact to the drivers as well. So they have to be very much in tune with the flashing lights on top of the safety car, because as soon as they go out, that's our clear signal too, and I'm going to suggest they're out now. So that's nice and early. That race control being led by Colin Smith, Matt Belcom down there as well. We've got very experienced Anthony Jenkins also in the crew in race control this weekend as well. So lots of experience in race control, and I guess when we've had a day like we had yesterday, the reason I guess we got to the end of the day with a relatively good race meeting was the fact that there is a huge amount of experience here when we go racing at the State Series of the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, the Pyark round. As the safety car now exits the track, we come under control of Jamie Westaway. Now, something the drivers have to keep their head cool about now is do not overlap or pass anyone until you hit the control line. This is a V8 supercar. Once the safety car goes off, it's crucial. In the Motorsport Australia manual, which is what this event is run by, you have to hit that control line, which is right in front of the control tower where our vantage point is here, and you cannot overlap. So it can be a little bit frustrating if the car in front is not getting away as quick as you like. So you do have to remain line astern. James Westaway leads the field. Cam Bella is going with him here very nicely indeed. And the green flag is being waved. Line astern with each other. This is a good restart. No need for the stewards to get involved with this restart, and the entire 944 field continues on. 2 laps remaining, a virtual club sprint. Now we're talking grassroots of the Porsche pyramid, aren't we?
Now we're cooking with gas. Cameron Bella on that cool-down safety car lap, was all over the back bumper of Jamie Westaway, trying to find a way past, and he just could not get through. Oh, Josh Brisbane around the outside of Manny Metasama. Either Metasama's having a bit of an issue with his car there, or Josh Brisbane is on an absolute flyer. He's one of the newcomers this season. Oh, really tight battle here. A lot of speed missing there from Manny Metasama. He, of course, had a gearbox failure last time out. Hopefully it's not the same issue once again, because the whole field is trying to get past him now. Dickie Howe, Peter James, John Kennedy's having a look up the inside of him as well. What a shame for Manny if that is the case. But Josh Brisbane is up to 7th position for his only first season in the 944s. That's a fantastic effort. He's really taken to this series very quickly.
Peter James getting nicely through there in that bright magenta or pink coloured car. It's the flashing through the side screen there. There's Mitchell as well. Beautifully liveried car there. Martini, I guess, inspired. Here comes Dick Howe as well now. Right behind him, Kennedy, Sinclair, Peter James.
I'm not sure where he is at the moment. He's got 10th on our leaderboard, so he's a little bit further back. But there he is there. So he's just behind Manny Metasama right now, trying to find a way past. And we're just listening to the field come through empty in the last two corners. But a nice side-by-side action. You can see some happening there. Josh Brisbane there, we see in the number 56, sitting tight in 7th, right behind, I believe that is Richard Howe, who is one of Australia's, you could say, flag by season. Checkered flag, we've got an early finish. Jamie Westaway has won in front of Cameron Bell, with Tony Westaway crossing the line in 3rd. Adam Brewer is 4th. Behind him, we have Mark Torbitz, who's dropped back to 5th position. Tim Wolfe finishes P6. Richard Howe is 7th. Josh Brisbane ends up 8th with, I'm not sure who that is behind him. Peter James has ended up 8th, as a matter of fact. John Kennedy is 9th. And Manny Metasama has dragged that car across the line to finish in 10th.
Gee, you'd have to suggest that Manny's just realised that we've only got 2 more laps to go. Whatever is ailing him, he was going to bring it home, wasn't he? Just to drag any number of points that he possibly can out of that. Good drive to bring it home. Well done, Manny. So 944s have finished their race for Westbon Management here this weekend. And that was I guess, a one-lap screamer is what we will call that, from safety car off to coming back on. Matt, thank you very much for your expert comments with the 944s, as always.
No worries at all, mate. I'll see you later this afternoon for race 3.
Thanks, Matt. Of course, we'll be back next with Formula V. But if you like that 944 racing, then be back at, I'm going to say 1:45 for their 8-lap race.